we are starting our SSC CGL notes regarding the general science, that is your biology, chemistry and physics. So today we are covering three subjects, all these three subjects with their different topics. You can check out in this video. I will try to cover them as soon as possible within less time, and these are the detailed ones. I guess these are enough for you to solve all those questions. So the first topic that I am covering is human digestive system. So basically, what is digestion? It is the process by which the complex food substances, these are broken down into the simpler and their soluble forms, and that can be easily absorbed by the body. So the organs which are involved in human digestive system are this is your digestive tract, which starts with the mouth, then goes to pharynx, then esophagus, then stomach, then small intestine, then large intestine, then to rectum, and the last one is your anus. So the accessory organs, which is your salivary glands, liver, gallbladder and pancreas. So the process of the digestion, it starts with the mouth, where the ingestion and the mechanical digestion happens. So teeth crushes the food, tongue mixes the food with the saliva, and saliva contains the salivary amylase, which is also known as ptyalin. And this salivary amylase helps in the digestion of the food. So digestion starts the digestion of the carbohydrate, that is your starch, and it is converted into the maltose, and then this will go into the esophagus, and the food moves to the stomach via the peristalsis. Peristalsis is basically the movement of the food within these organs, that is your esophagus, and no digestion occurs in the esophagus, remember this. Then in the stomach, it secretes gastric juices, which usually contains the HCl, that is your hydrochloric acid, pepsin, which is a protein digesting enzyme, and the mucus. So the function of stomach is basically the HCl kills the bacteria, pepsin will break down the proteins into the peptides, that is the smaller forms of the proteins, and the mucus, it will protect the stomach wall, because in the stomach you have HCl. Then your small intestine, here the main site of the this is the main site of your digestion and the absorption, and most of the digestion completes in the duodenum. The parts of the small intestine is your duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Also your stomach has 4 parts, that is your fundus and your body, then these are the parts of your small intestine, duodenum, jejunum and the ileum, and these receives bile from the liver, pancreatic juice from the pancreas, and role of liver and the pancreas. Liver it produces the bile, and the bile functions as emulsifier, which emulsifies the fats, that is breaks the fat into the tiny droplets, and the pancreas, it produces the enzymes, which are known as pancreatic enzymes. So the enzymes produced are trypsin basically digests the proteins, amylase, it digests the carbohydrates, and the lipase, it digests the fats. So here the absorption of the food occurs, so it occurs via the villi in the small intestine, and these villi helps in the surface area expansion. Okay, a villi will increase the surface area. Next is your large intestine, where the absorption of the water occurs, and it forms the feces. So this is basically your digestion summary table, organ, juice and the function. Mouth, it has saliva, and its function is to convert starch into the maltose. Then stomach, it has gastric juice, which convert the proteins into the peptides. Then liver, it produces the bile, which helps in fat emulsification, and pancreas, pancreatic juice, And small intestine, intestinal juice, where complete digestion occurs. Largest gland of the body is liver, and largest part of the alimentary canal is your small intestine. HCl is secreted by the stomach. Bile does not contain enzymes. Absorption occurs mainly in the ileum, and villi will increase your absorption area, and pepsin acts only in the acidic medium. So practice questions: which enzyme acts in the mouth? That is your ptyalin, that is your this salivary amylase. Longest part of the digestive system is your small intestine, and bile is produced by the liver. Acid present in the stomach is your HCl. Fat digestion mainly occurs in small intestine. Enzyme that digests the protein in the stomach is your pepsin, which works in acidic environment. Bile helps in digestion of the fats, that is your emulsification of the fats. Which organ stores the bile? That is your gallbladder. Digestion of protein will start in stomach. Absorption mainly occurs in small intestine. Largest gland of the body is liver. Pancreatic juice contains trypsin, amylase, and the lipase. Peristalsis occurs in the esophagus, that is your movement of the food in the esophagus. Starch digestion occurs in the mouth with the help of the salivary amylase, that is your ptyalin. Villi are found in small intestine. Gallbladder stores the bile. Pepsin works in the acidic medium. Carbohydrate digestion begins in mouth. Final digestion occurs in small intestine. Bile is produced by liver. Mucus in stomach prevents damage by the acid. Enzyme for the fat digestion is your lipase, which is not an enzyme. Sorry, the options are not given, so skip this question. Then food moves by peristalsis. Water absorption mainly occurs in large intestine. Trypsin acts on proteins. HCl activates the pepsin, which will it convert into the pepsinogen. Which organ produces insulin? That is your pancreas. Digestive juice from the liver is your bile, and product of the protein digestion is amino acid, and product of fat digestion is your fatty acids plus glycerol, and product of the carbohydrate is your glucose. Digestive juice in stomach, gastric juice. Food mixed with saliva, it forms the bolus, and that semi-digested food in stomach is called your chyme. Intestinous juice is called succus centricus. Enzyme converting protein to peptide is your pepsin. Liver's main function in digestion is bile production. Which organ has villi? Small intestine. Which is alkaline? Bile. Which neutralize acid? Food. Bile. Which part has no digestion? Esophagus. Which prevent stomach damage? Mucus. Largest digestive organ? Liver. Digestion completed in the small intestine. Which enzyme break the fat? Lipase. Digestion starts in mouth. Teeth help in mechanical digestion. Tongue helps in swallowing, and the absorption via villi. These are your previous year question. Which is the largest gland? Liver. Bile is secreted by liver. With enzyme acts on proteins, that is your pepsin. Fat digestion occur in a small intestine. Longest part of the digestive system, it is also your small intestine. And enzyme in saliva is ptyalin, that is your salivary amylase. Acid in stomach is HCl. Bile is stored in gallbladder. Which organ absorbs the nutrients? Small intestine. Villi is present in small intestine. Check these out. Bile does not contain any enzymes. Okay. And pancreas has both endocrine and exocrine function. Next is your human circulatory system. And so first is your what is circulation. So circulation is the process of the transport of the blood, nutrients, oxygen, hormones and waste products throughout the body. And there are three types of the circulatory system, that is your there are two types of the circulatory system, that is your open one and the closed one. Open one is found in the insects, where blood is not confined in the vessels, and the second one is your closed one, which is present in the humans, and blood flows in the vessel, it is confined. Humans have closed circulatory system. Structure of the heart is located between the lungs, that is in the thoracic cavity, and the size is fist sized. It is covered by a membrane which is known as pericardium. Chambers of the heart, four chambers of the heart: right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle, and their function. Right atrium, it basically receives the deoxygenated blood. Right ventricle, it pumps the blood to the lungs. So basically these are four chambers of your heart. Okay, that is your left atria, and that is your left ventricle. Okay, that is your right atria, and that is your right ventricle. So right atria, it will receive the deoxygenated blood, and right ventricle pumps the blood to the lungs. Okay, left atrium, it will receive the oxygenated blood, and left ventricle pumps the blood to the body. Okay, so left ventricle, it has the thickest wall. Okay, valves of the heart: tricuspid valve, it will be present between the right atria and right ventricle, that is your tricuspid valve, it prevents the backflow. And bicuspid or the mitral valve is present between your left atria and the left ventricles, it also prevents the backflow. Semilunar ventricles, these prevent the backflow. So your blood flow is body, and then your right atrium, then right ventricle, then it will goes to lungs, and lungs से आपका oxygenated blood आएगा, and it will goes to left atrium, that left ventricle, then body, then again from body to right atrium. Okay, so humans have double circulation. Double circulation means pulmonary circulation and your systematic circulation. Pulmonary circulation is your the blood goes from heart to lungs, then to heart, and in systematic circulation it goes from heart to body, then heart. So the blood vessels and their function: three blood vessels are there. Artery, it will carry the blood away from the heart, and vein, it will carry blood to heart, and capillary, these will be helpful in exchange of the substances. So the artery, it will carry the oxygenated blood, and vein will carry the deoxygenated blood. Artery is thick, wall of the artery is thick, and wall of the vein is thin. And in pressure, artery is high pressure and vein have low pressure. In artery, valves are absent, and in vein, valves are present. Now pulmonary artery will carry the deoxygenated blood, and pulmonary vein will carry the oxygenated blood. This is the exception. As we say, the artery carry the oxygenated blood and vein will carry the deoxygenated blood, but pulmonary artery will carry the deoxygenated blood and pulmonary vein will carry the oxygenated blood. So the components of the blood is your plasma and blood cells. Plasma is your 55%, and these are blood cell and these are 45%, in which 44% is RBC and 1% is your WBC and platelets. So RBCs carry the oxygen and WBCs these fight with the infection, platelets is useful in blood clotting, and plasma is your liquid medium. So four types of blood group, that is your A blood group, B blood group, AB blood group and O. Universal donor is your O and universal recipient is your AB positive, and universal donor is O negative. So the pulse rate is 72 per minute, that is your average pulse rate. Blood pressure, two types, systolic and diastolic, which is 120/80 mmHg. Heartbeat का sound होता है लब डब. Heart has four chambers. Left ventricle is the strongest. Arteries carry the blood away. Veins have walls. RBCs contains the hemoglobin. WBCs fight the infection. Platelets help in clotting. And the pulmonary artery and your pulmonary vein is your exception. Number of chambers, 4. Largest chamber your left ventricle. Blood carrying oxygen, RBC, which fight the infection, WBC. Blood clotting cells, platelets. Artery carry the blood away from heart, veins towards the heart. Blood pressure normal value 120/80. Pulse rate 72 per minute. Universal donor O negative. Universal recipient AB positive. Pulmonary arteries carry the deoxygenated blood and pulmonary vein carry the oxygenated blood, and these are the exceptions. Thickest wall in heart, left ventricle, and your largest chamber, left ventricle. Valve between RA and RV, that is your right atrium and right ventricle, is tricuspid, and left atrium and left ventricle is mitral valve, that is your bicuspid valve. Thickest wall left ventricle. Fluid part of blood, that is your plasma. Oxygen carrier is your hemoglobin. Double circulation is found in humans. Exchange of substance occurs in the capillaries. Heart is covered by pericardium, that is your double layered membrane. Right atrium receives the blood from the body. Left atrium receives the blood from the lungs. And your blood vessels, smallest are capillaries. Highest pressure is in arteries. Valves present in veins, which has no nucleus, that is your RBCs, which is enucleated. RBC lifespan 120 days. WBC lifespan is few days. Blood color due to hemoglobin. Heart sound is lubbed up, which carries the nutrient. Plasma, which prevents the backflow valves. Oxygenated blood found in left side. Deoxygenated blood found in right side. Which transport the hormones. Blood. Largest artery is your aorta, which is the smallest vessel, that is your capillary, which has walls, veins. RBC is produced in bone marrow, but in their mature state, and mature liver and spleen. Blood group discovered by Carl Landsteiner. And which blood group has no antigen, that is your O. Which blood group has both antigen, AB. Heart pumps blood via contraction. Blood flows due to pressure. Exchange occur in capillaries, which carries the carbon dioxide, that is your RBC. Which system transport the nutrient, that is your circulatory system. Which organ pumps the blood, heart. Which carries the waste blood. These are your previous year question. Number of chambers, universal donor, that is your O negative, and pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood. RBC function, oxygen transport. Blood clotting component, platelets. Blood group discovered by Carl Landsteiner. Which vessel has walls, veins. Largest artery, aorta. Pulse rate 72 per minute. Exchange occur in capillaries. Remember this flow. Artery away, vein in. See, blood components, they carry RBC oxygen, WBC immunity, platelets clotting.